Cleveland, Ohio. The first domino for a LeBron James super team with the Lakers may have fallen Friday with reports that Kawhi Leonard wants out of San Antonio. But so many more would need to drop for this to work, and no one can be sure that the first domino will even hit a second. In theory, the Spurs could trade Leonard, who will be 27 in 2 weeks, to the Lakers, one of 2 or 3 teams he'd like to be traded to, according to reports. Los Angeles has the cap space about $66 million with a $101 million cap to sign 2 all-star free agents to max contracts, so James and Paul George could both join with Leonard in this scenario. James, who will turn 34 in December, is coming off maybe the best he's ever had. He has a $35.6 million player's option on his contract with the Cavaliers for next year that's due June 29. George, 28, a 5-time All-Star, has a $20.7 million player's option on his contract with Oklahoma City. Leonard has only made 2 All-Star teams but is nonetheless regarded as one of the NBA's best players, even though he only played 9 games last year because of a quad injury that drove a wedge between him and the Spurs over how to care for it. Leonard is under contract for about $20.1 million next and has a player's option for $21.3 million the following. We'll get to more on Leonard's contract in a minute, but James would be hard-pressed to find a place where he could pair with 2 other players of this caliber in an attempt to take down the Golden State Warriors. How do you put together a group of talent but also a group of minds to be able to compete with Golden State, to be able to compete for a championship, James said last week. But there is no guarantee Leonard even forces his way out of San Antonio, let alone to the Lakers, at any point between now and the trade deadline next. And would a top-heavy team of James, George, Leonard, and little else really be enough to take down the deep and championship-laden Warriors? The Spurs can offer Leonard a contract extension for 5 additional years and $219 million. They could still make the offer to Leonard before honoring his wishes for a trade. Would he really say no to that kind of money? The same contract would not be available to him anywhere else. Leonard reportedly wants to play in either LA, where there are 2 teams, the Lakers and Clippers, or New York. But he does not have a no-trade clause in his current contract, so the Spurs could trade him anywhere. And the Lakers may either not have enough in trade assets to get the Spurs to send them Leonard, or if they do might decimate their stash of role players to the point where the impact of a James Leonard-George union could be mitigated. If Leonard is traded by June 30, his contract carries the 2017-18 value of $18.9 million. The Lakers have Luol Deng under contract for 2 more years at about $17.2 million for the just completed, and $18 million for next, but it is unlikely the Spurs would have any interest. The Spurs may want Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and Josh Hart, as well as the Lakers' first-round pick which came from the Cavs. In that scenario, assuming James and George signed as free agents, Los Angeles would only have them, Leonard, and Deng under contract. The Lakers would be left to fill the rest of their roster with veterans' minimum contracts, a salary cap exception of about $4.3 million, and a trade exception of about $1.5 million for trading Larry Nance Jr. to the Cavs. The Celtics, for instance, could trade one of their multiple first-round picks, as well as a young, rising player like Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, or Jason Tatum, or even Kyrie Irving or Gordon Hayward. The Lakers would have a tough time competing with that offer. Leonard's leverage in stopping a trade to a place like Boston or Philadelphia is his threat to not pick up his player's option or re-sign there, because of his desire to go to LA and New York. 2 sports betting sites, Bovada and Bookmaker, both set the Lakers as the team most likely to get Leonard. Bookmaker said the Cavs were 3rd, behind the Spurs, while Bovada had the Cavs as the 5th most likely behind Boston, Philadelphia, and San Antonio. The Cavs have the number 8 pick in this year's draft, as well as the contracts of Kevin Love $22.6 million this, $24.1 million next, and former Spur George Hill $20 million $19 million. As for James, he's spending time with family and mulling where he wants to play next and beyond. He's a week removed from his 8th consecutive finals and 4th with the Cavs.